Samsung is going to launch the S26 Plus after all. So for months and months and months, I was telling and that was the plan. This was the plan. The S25 Plus, the middle child, was going to get the axe, and Samsung was going to slide in the S26 Edge. So if you asked me last week, the plan was that they were going to come out with the S26 Pro, S26 Edge, and S26 Ultra. And a couple days ago, guess what? It's back. Samsung is now gearing production up for the S26 Plus. Now that doesn't mean they're gonna axe the Edge. They're gonna have 4 phones this year, so they're gonna do the S26 Pro, the S26 Edge, the S26 Plus, and the S26 Ultra. Whew, man, look, I know the Plus model, that was one of my favorites, right? When they bumped it up to 12 gigs of RAM, I think they did that with the S24 Plus. Was the first year they went with 12 gigs of RAM. I was like, finally they nailed it. And they not only upgraded the RAM, they upgraded the display to a 2K display, because if you remember, the S23 Plus and all older models only had that 1080p Plus. So I was like, there was always something holding it back. And then with the S24 Plus, I had gotten one of those, a blue one, and I was like, whoa, I was thinking at the time, that might be the best phone in the lineup. I know it's lacking that 200 megapixel sensor that the Ultra has, but look, there's a fair argument to say the Ultra is too freaking big. And it is big, but it's like a love-hate relationship. Like, if it was any other phone, it'd probably drive me crazy and I would get rid of it. But it is the Samsung. It does have a nice, beautiful display. So, but look, let's just face it, it's huge, right? I have to juggle it in my hand to make screen selections. It's basically a two-handed phone, right? Well, the Plus model was almost the perfect model because it's slightly smaller. You can actually use it with one hand. Now, cameras, probably the only area that lacked a little bit just because it was missing that 200 megapixel sensor. But I'm glad they're bringing it back. I'm glad they are bringing it back. The more options, the better, right? So I'm actually interested in the Edge. Now that I was thinking, damn, I'm going to get an Edge and an Ultra. And now they're saying the Plus is going to come out. Oh my God. They get me every time. I can't buy 3 phones, right? Can I? I'm sure I could, but will I is the question. So why did they bring it back, right? Well, production and sales of the S25 Edge have not been good since June. So the month after its launch, sales dropped off pretty quick. So this is a bad sign. As most smartphones usually sell the best in their first 3 months of availability. Samsung's still selling the hell out of the S25 Ultra. It's their best selling phone I think they've had in years. So it's Samsung is basically leaving money on the table, taking away models, right? So in my opinion, I think Samsung is scared to let go of the Plus because the sales of the S25 Edge were so bad. Now, I think the S25 Edge is probably one of my favorite phones this year. It does not get a lot of love. It was a weird launch. They launched it like 3 months after the other S25 models. So it kind of slid under the radar on a lot of people. And plus people hear, oh, it's got a small battery. Well, guess what? It gets better battery life than my S25 Ultra. So I think it'll grow on people, and I think the S26 Edge will have better sales than the S25 Edge. They're going to launch it at the same time. Also, all 4 phones are going to launch on the same day. So I think you'll see better sales. I think after people get more comfortable, people will watch reviews on the previous model and say, damn, so the battery life wasn't bad at all? This might be a good option. Plus, it has that 200 megapixel sensor the Plus model is missing. But I think Samsung wanted to make sure they cover all their grounds when it comes to sales. They cannot lose any sales to Apple or to Google or to anybody else. So with these 4 devices, they have everybody covered. If you want the thinness, and trust me, all these devices are going to be thinner, not just the Edge. The Edge is getting more thin. Well, guess what? The Ultra is getting more thin. The Plus is said to be more thin, and so is the regular S26 Pro. So they're all going to get a little thinner and a little lighter. So I'm very excited for the launch of the S26 series. I'm definitely getting one, if not 2. Definitely getting the Ultra, and probably going to get the Edge, to be quite honest with you. And you can find, if you want to test one out before you possibly get an S26 Edge, you can find really, really good deals on the S25 Edge. I was just looking online. You can get one for right around $500 in good condition, and they were what, $1,200 brand new. So say the aftermarket price on those have plummeted. And look, T-Mobile is basically giving those away for free, as AT&T and Verizon were. So very interesting. But the S26 model, the S26 Plus model is back. If that's your favorite, Samsung's going to have it for you. They do not want to lose out on any sales. And I think that was a good choice, because I was bummed out when I heard that they were going to get rid of the Plus model.